Okay, this is a playthrough of Stalingrad, Advance to the Volga, 1942, by Mike Granella. I will give you my thoughts and comments and review and recommendations afterwards, so if you want to just skip ahead to that, you can. I have played this about 6 times, about half a dozen times, won twice, and enjoyed all 6 times. So, I will get started here. First, I'm going to make a couple of notes. Sorry for the interesting camera angles. My setup can't show the entire board at the same time. That might actually not be that helpful. Anyway, as we play, I'll try to zoom in a little bit. Second thing, I did print out Stuka Joe's handy-dandy little random event card reminders. These are just basic little card stock off of an inkjet printer at home. But these are really handy to remember exactly if there's any die roll modifiers that I need to remember throughout each turn. I also created my very own combat tracker. Stuka Joe also has one. It's a, you can print that off, set it off to the side, but I created one that I can overlay right over the top of the existing columns that track different things and kind of combine everything, since we have all these trackers anyway. And then I will put the link to this document, this resource, on in the description, but it also comes with little printable things that you can use for marking the combat value. And again, I tried to match color schemes and things like that. But without further ado, I will get started. So I did already set up the game, so I'm not going to show you how to do that because it is very easy to do. But I'm going to just get started playing, and hopefully you'll enjoy this. So, the first thing you'll do is the dawn phase, as you can see here right on the board. Dawn phase is the first thing, and I love the handy-dandy player aid. So, dawn phase, if there's any reinforcements or withdrawals, turn 1, there is not. So we're going to start with turn 1. There's nothing for turn 1 as far as reinforcements or withdrawal. Second step, random event phase. So this is where it gets dicey. Speaking of dice, I have this homemade dice tower that I built. And I made a little emblem kind of combining the two military logos at the time. But what we do for the random events phase is we roll 3 die, excuse me, and we see what will happen. So here we go. Ooh, this doesn't look good. 6. So, I don't know these by heart, so artillery shell shortage. This is not a great start. Artillery support markers add +1 and not 2 to the German attack value this turn. That is no bueno. So, I'm going to go through here. There it is. So this will remind me every time I lay down an artillery marker, which they're right here, they only count as 1 attack value instead of 2. So there you go. Anyway, that stinks. So, but hey, it's war, right? Next is the supply phase. Now, because this is the first turn, anything that I roll that is lower than 16 will automatically be adjusted to the minimum of 16, which is nice that you actually get to start with something halfway decent to buy extra resources. Now that's a pretty good roll. 16, what do you know? So, again, using my tracker here, I'm going to take my supply marker and move it to 16. And at this point, I am going to buy some resources. First thing I usually do is buy every artillery support unit that is available. Sorry, move it up here. This is the used ones. But let's see. Unfortunately, these are no longer the deal that they normally would be, because because of my artillery shell shortage, they're only worth 1. But I'm still going to buy all 7. So there's 7, so that's going to be 7 minus 16 is 9. Right on top of the control marker, which is on 9, because right now I have 9 areas in control. That's what you start the game with. Oh, let's see. I have 9 points left. I like to keep a few in reserve for the next turn in case something goes awry. One thing I forgot to mention as far as support units, every turn you get 1 free air support marker. Is that a Stuka maybe? I don't know. Sorry. Anyway, they cost 3, unfortunately. But they can be good. Do I want to buy another one for 3? Yeah, why not? There. Okay, I put it down here in my available support, and then I move this down 3. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. All right, that's the supply phase. Combat phase, the fun part, right? Okay, so looking at the board, you start the game with 9 areas that you have control over. Right? What I'm going to do is, let's just start down at the bottom. See how far we can zoom in. Here we go. I'm going to move the 29th Division here, leading off with my lead unit with the strength of 6 and the movement of 6. So that's the numbers, strength and or combat value and movement value. So he will be the first one in the lead, but I will bring in all 4 into this area, into this light urban area, and we're going to flip it over, and we're going to see what we have. Guards. Ooh. Okay. So now this is where I like to use my combat tracker. So what I'd usually do is count out loud. I have 6 for the lead attacking unit strength, plus 1 for every other unit that's attacking together, so 6, 7, 8, 9. Because there's at least 3 units in the same division, there's a divisional integrity bonus of 1 extra. So that's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And because my morale is strong, I get an attack value modifier of 1. So I believe that is 11. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So my strength, my combat value strength is 11. I turned up to 11. Now we calculate the Russian defense. So it's 8 plus 3, which is the terrain area modifier. So that's 11. Also, which isn't enough. So I will go ahead and put their marker kind of on the same spot. Now, at this point, we also have to know what that guard defense strategy is. And it's one of the harder ones. The Soviet side rolls 3 dice instead of 2, and then drop the lowest result. So, thankfully we're not along the Volga, because then I'd have to roll 4. So what I'm going to do over here is you roll 2 dice normally for each side during combat. However, because they are guards, they get 3 dice. So the Red Army gets red dice, and the Germans get the black and white. So I'm going to roll all 5 together, and because I know that we have both 11 combat value, I just hope to roll more than they do. Here we go. Lose the lowest one. That is a 2. Oh, they get a 9. We get a 7. That means we get repulsed. So, when you essentially lose or you're repulsed, your lead attacking unit goes into the out of action. Again, not good start. And then the other ones have to go back to the area from which they came, and you flip them over to their spent side. Okay. Great start. Maybe I should have used an artillery support. That might have been helpful. Who knows? let's continue on with the attack. Let's move this group of... Should we move these? Sometimes it does help, because you can see these are just infantry or ground support. These are mobile units. And you can see, even though these are in 2 different spots, we could combine them later. Maybe move one out to have an attacking unit have a little bit more power. But that would take up an entire turn, since you can only activate one area at any given time. So, I'm going to... just for the sake of this playthrough, I'm going to move these guys into here, leading with the division, or the battalion, I guess you'd say, that has the 3 attack value. So we're going to move in, flip it over. Oh, and we get another 8, but it's heroes. And the heroes, actually, I like the best because you simply reduce your German morale after combat. Oh, and by the way, because we had gotten repulsed from the last attack, or from the last combat, we need to lose morale there. So anytime you lose a battle or a combat and get repulsed, you will lose 1 morale point. But here again, with the heroes, even if you win, you have to lose 1 morale point. Of course, you will ignore this if it's a repulse, because you'll take 1 away anyway, or an overrun, which we haven't discussed yet, but I'm sure we'll get to at some point in time. So, what do we got here? We got 3, 4, 5, so you get 3 points for the lead attack unit, and then 1 additional for each other one. 3, 4, 5. 6 for the divisional integrity, having at least 3 units of the same color division. So 3, 4, 5, 6. So let's see. I'm going to put my combat value right on the 6, which is also nice. And they have 8 plus 3 is 11. Not the greatest, so I got to decide if I want to commit some support units, some of my support units here. You can put up to the same number of support units as our attacking units in that area. So there are 3 in this area that I moved in. I can use up to 3. Let's use one of the bombers, one of the Stukas, and so I'm 6 to. We'll throw an artillery in there now. Again, because of this artillery shortage, it's not worth 2, it's only worth 1. I'm just going to flip it over and stick it right here. So here we go. Let's just, I guess we can calculate the air support first. So we roll 1 die. Hope it's a high number. 5, all right. So we take that 5 and we subtract the Russians' combat value, so that would be 6. Hey, look at that. And now, because we also have an artillery, that adds +1 to us. So we now have 7 combat value to their 6. I think we'll take that. Here we go. Oh, we definitely got them. We have 11 to their 5, so that's a difference of 6. So this is what I normally do. Instead of adding the 11 to mine and then the 5 to theirs, I just say, well, what's the difference? The difference is 6 in my favor, so I just add 6 to there, and I say, okay. So right now I have 7 more than they do. Obviously, I won. That was a great battle. So we take the used support units, we stick them up here for later. We take the heroes, we put them off to the side, and then we can take a control marker and stick it on here. So now, let's move our little control tracker as well. Kind of handy to know kind of where you're at. Yeah. And again, I'm using my own custom little combo tracker there. Also, we have to flip these attacking units to their spent side. Okay? Alright. Alright, well that definitely helps, especially after that abysmal start. Okay, now what we could do is move these guys there, these guys there. It's a small division, but their combat value, at least the lead unit, is fairly high. So it would be, if we move it there, it'd be 6, 7. There's only 2, so I wouldn't get an extra bonus for the divisional integrity. So it would only be 7 versus whatever could be there. This one, same kind of deal. It's a 7 plus an additional one would be 8. So it's a little low for my taste. I do like to combine these, even though it would take a turn and they would not be able to do anything else. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to move these two using their movement points. And you can read about the movement points. It's pretty simple to move to an adjacent area, to an area that is adjacent to an unrevealed Russian unit. You can look down here in the movement chart. Containing an unrevealed takes. That's entering the area with an unrevealed. Enter a vacant area or a German-controlled area adjacent to any server. It would only be 2. So definitely have enough with the 6. But because I did that, I have to turn them to their spend side because I don't want to move them anymore. I just want them to join up with that group. So I'm not going to end up moving this, these 2 units in my next turn. So I'm just going to turn them over to the spend side just to remind myself I'm not going to do that. So moving ahead here, let's move this great-looking division into the hospital area, into the clear section, obviously using my highest value as the lead unit. And we have Heroes 6, that's great. Heroes, it doesn't really go much lower than a 4, so 6 is pretty good. And again, the only ill effect that we would suffer, even if we won, would be losing a morale point. So let's check out these combat values. So we have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 with integrity, and that's it. So move my combat value. Sorry for the angles. Let's see, 8 to their, what did they have? They had 6 plus 1 is 7. So I have 1 more than they do. I'm gonna throw in, let's see. Sometimes, again, you get a few strategic points. At least it's my strategy. 1, 2. I'm not gonna move all of these into combat, so I'll have a few tokens, a few support units available, and they'll be left over at the end of this turn. So I may elect to use a couple. I can use up to 4. I can use up to 4 with this attack because I have 4 units in here. Do I want to do that? Yeah, let's use 3. 3 artillery. And again, they're only worth 1 additional attack value instead of 2. That's a big time bummer. So that's an extra 3 to my already 8. That's 11. Goes up to 11. To their 7. Alright. So I have 4 more than they do. And hopefully I will roll at least 4 more. Or the difference of anything. And the 6. Ooh. Okay, this is interesting. So the difference here is 4. So they get to move 4, so that would bring them up to the same exact combat value. Now, this is not a win, obviously. We did not succeed, nor did we lose or are repulsed. What this is called is a stalemate, if I'm not mistaken, and this area becomes contested. So, what happens here is we move artillery units, the used support units back in this used support area. And what we do here is turn our units over to the spent side. We don't lose the lead attack unit because, again, the area is contested now, but we also haven't gained control of it. So what happens is that they're just spent and they sit just like that for the next turn. And there is a couple unique rules when you deal with contested areas like this, which we'll get into next turn. So here's another great looking division. Do we move them up to the light urban area, or do we move them to the elevated location that has like a slightly smaller terrain effect modifier? I say we let's try to get some wins. This is one combat value at least visibly lower than that one, so we're going to give this one a try. Again, lead attacking unit would be this one. Let's flip it over and see who we got. Ambush 6. At least the number's low, but ambush. Eliminate the lead attacking unit after combat resolution, and this applies even if we win. We can ignore the combat if it was a repulse because you automatically lose a lead unit anyway. Or if we overrun, we wouldn't lose. So this is where we definitely want to try to get an overrun if we can. And an overrun is when our combat value is greater than the amount that we have beat the unit is greater than the defense unit that is marked on the unit. Not the combination or any other modifiers, but just on the unit. So we would have to have a difference of 7 or more in our combat value versus their defense value for us to have an overrun, and then we wouldn't lose our lead attack unit, but that's going to be tough to do. So here again, we got to decide. We have, let's see, what do we have left here? Well, we have 1 Stuka and 3 artillery. I may not attack with these guys this turn because I like to combine that one with that one, or those two with that one, and combine those two. These two, it's tough to fight with only 2 units. I usually don't. I've won a third of the times that I've played, so we'll just do some crazy stuff for the sake of this playthrough. So let's do it. Let's use all of them. We can use 4 because there's 4 units in there, and again, these are only worth 1. So since there's no defense modifiers, let's just add up their 6 plus 2 already. Let's just give them an 8. And then ours, what do we have here? We got the 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 10 for the morale. I'm thinking about this, and I don't know if I added the morale boost from the last one, but that's okay. For the sake of learning the game and the interesting rules, we'll just leave it. So, what do we have again? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I will move my combat track to 10. But I have 3 artillery supports, so that's going to be an extra 3. 1, 2, 3. So that's 13 to their 8. So I already have 5 more than they do. But I'm going to roll my Stuka. So here we go. Okay, let's get a high number. That is not a high number. Okay, so again, that is them bombing the Russians, so they lose that many points, which is only 1. So 7, 13. So I have 6 more than they do. So basically, I need to roll at least 1 more higher than their defense roll for this to be an overrun, and I wouldn't have to lose my lead attack unit because of the ambush defense strategy that they're employing. So here we go. 1 more. Wow, that couldn't have gone much worse. That could not have gone much worse. So, well, here's the reality. That's a 2. Sorry for the clear dice, but that is a 2 and a 1. So they have one more than me, so that moves up. Obviously, I still have more than them, so I win. I gain control of the area. However, because of the ambush defense strategy, I lose my lead attack unit. Man, he is out of action. All right, so take these guys. It's a stupid Stuka. You got to do better than just a one, man. Take those guys away. I won that area. I will take this. Put that there. Move my... Oh, I will first flip these to spent. And then move my counter, my control counter up one. So I have control of 11 areas. And to win, you need to control at least 40 by the end of turn 9. This is just the regular scenario. There is another optional scenario you can play that's a little different. But there we are. Okay. So now, I mentioned that I like to combine these two, so that's what I'm going to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move these two using their movement points, and they have plenty because these are armored units. I'm going to flip them to spent, and I'm going to flip this one to spent because I don't want to move him and do anything with him without his buddies there. So now here's the last area that I have to think about. There is, and again, this is maybe part strategy. I hope it's not a spoiler, but I like this idea of splitting up a small division like this, a small battalion, so that if I were to encounter the random event of a logistical pause, it's, I think, one of the worst events that could happen. You roll 1d6 and you select that number of areas containing German units and flip all of them therein spent. And that also happens if you roll a 13 or 14. Meaning you're not able to use those units for the entire turn. And I have played this game, like I said, 6 times. There was one game where I rolled like 5 or 6 logistical pauses in a row, and it was devastating, absolutely devastating, because I had all my units combined. So because this one isn't a very strong unit anyway, I'm gonna eventually split them up. So what I'm gonna do is, what I should have done is, I should have had those guys move over there, so I could have moved one there and spread it out a little bit, but it doesn't really matter, I guess. This is just for the educational purposes, right? So I'm just going to say I'm not going to do anything with them, so I'm going to flip them to spent. So that essentially ends the combat phase, since I have no other units that are not spent. So we're going to do the end phase, which is victory check. Have we won? Absolutely not. We flip all the spent units back to their other side, and we will then reduce German morale by 1. You do that every turn. You reduce it by 1, and then you start over. So, here we go. I'm going to try to... I don't think this is going to stay up, so I'm just going to try to do this quickly. Flip everybody over. They are back. They have rallied. They have been refreshed. It's a new day. Oh, yep. I was going to say I don't have to do something, but I do. I just got to flip these guys. And let's see. These guys. I'm sorry. I can't see what I'm doing. It's not that exciting at this point, but we're ready to go for a new day. Take down the German rail. And that is the end of the phase. Now, dawn phase, turn number 2. Now, here's number 2. You can see there's these units stacked on unit 2, because as you can see here, there's a little emblem there, and in the rules it says to take this division and bring them into the game during the dawn phase. That's the reinforcement. Sorry about that. So now the rules state, and I do believe it has it on the Here's the reinforcements. You do have to see the rule as to where you can place them. I know where you can place them. You can place them in any, I believe, any German occupied area. I'm going to double check just to make sure. I'm sorry, not any German controlled area, but areas 1, 2, 31, or 32 if German controlled, and that would be 31 and 32 are here, but 1 and 2 are here. So I can put them in either one of these areas. I'm going to put it right here so they can kind of maybe move up. So here is that bunch of stacked units. There's 4 of them, and they're all in the same division, so that's kind of cool. Okay, there's no withdrawals. So I'm going to move to the random event phase, and here we go. We can get rid of artillery shell shortage. Hopefully for something that isn't so bad. At least that I don't think is so bad. So, roll 3 die, here we go. That is 13. Hey, there it is. Logistical pause. We have to roll a die and select that many areas to turn them spent. Ugh, I hate these. So here, we can use this card to remind us that it's just the beginning part where we have to suffer, and no other die roll modifiers. But here we go. Let's see low number. Low number. That is not a low number. 5. This is not good. So let's take the small unit, the small area. So that's one unit. I have to flip 4 more over. This is killer. Well, let's see here. Let's flip this over because they don't have a decent attacking unit. That's 2. This is going to be so many. They don't either. 3. 2 more. They're really strong because they're a full armored division. Sorry. They're full. They just came on the scene. They have to deal with an extra rule. That's a really good unit. Let's say 29th Panzer here. So wait, how many is that now? 1, 2, 3, 4. Got 1 more yet? This is so awful. Jeez. It's either between these two. It's a horse apiece. Doesn't matter. It's awful either way. 4. I say we'll rest these guys. And we'll try to get that contested area back, even with the extra rule. Great. Now it's time for the supply phase. The only redeeming, first of all, I'll take my 1 free air support unit that I get every turn. The only redeeming thing with the logistical pause is that there are less units that will want support units, so I can use more than I might normally. And now every artillery counts for 2 attack value, so that helps. So okay, supply phase, I got my extra. So now we roll 4d6 for our supply. Let's get some big numbers. That's it's okay. So what do we got? 12. That's at least it's in the double digits. So we add 12 supply points to our existing 6. That's 18. All right, now we can start. We can go shopping. All right, we can go shopping. So now, again, what I like to do, especially in this case, because these are definitely a good deal. They only cost 1 supply point, so I'm going to buy all 7. 4, 5, 6, 7. That brings our supply minus 7 down to 11. Oh, there it is again. Lucky 11. Yo, 11. We need more. Let's just buy more while we have it. Engineers give you 2 points of attack value, very similar to the artillery. However, they cost 2 supply points instead of just the 1, so that's why artillery is such a good deal. Let's buy, you know what, the other thing you can buy is a morale boost. You can see right here on the thing. You can move this back up 1, which is always a good thing because you don't necessarily want this to get down past 10, because once it's 9, then the die roll modifier flips. I'm going to keep my finger in here so I remember where it was. But here, if your morale is shaken, then the defense value for the Russians adds 1. So it's essentially a net change of 2, because you lose 1 for you and they gain 1, so that's a net of 2. So that's always, and that's for every battle that you encounter and initiate. So yeah, let's keep that up. Maybe let's use that while we have the points. What do we have, 11? Yeah, let's do it. Okay, let's buy a Stuka for 3. That would be 1, 2, 3, and then another 3, 1, 2, 3. 4. I can actually move these down since we're not in combat right now. For another 3 for a morale boost. I want to keep that high, if at all possible. So, okay. That's the supply phase. Now, combat phase. Here we go. This is going to be a quick turn, because unfortunately we don't have many units available. So, let's get this whole armored division rolling. Roll out. Oh, this is going to be a cakewalk. Of course, I say that and just watch. Again, heroes, you can see they're even showing us the lowest value, and that's what we happen to put in there. Again, reduce German morale if we win, unless it's an overrun. Let's go for broke. Let's get this overrun. Let's add 2 supply or artillery markers there. So again, these are worth 2 each. So we have, let's say the lead attack unit is this one, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 plus the strong morale, 11, 12, 13, 14. So we're going to take our combat value, 14, and there was a 4, right? A 4 and a 1. So that's 5. So we have 9 more than they do. As long as we can have at least 5 more than they do, then it'll be an overrun, and we don't lose our morale. We go to the heroes. So here we go. I think we're good. 7 to their 9. They only gain 2 more. 7 to 14 is still a difference of 7. 7 is greater than 4. That is an overrun. Dun, da-da! Heroes, not so much. So we take them. We put the artillery support in the used. We take our little counter there. You don't really have to use these counters. I like to use them for a couple reasons. One, I just like to see, hey, a quick visual. Get to see the military thing. And then actually, all of the, there's exactly 40 counters total. You put 9 out to start, and then there's 31 left. And if you get rid of all these before turn 9 is over, before the end of the game, then you win. So it's another easy way to track your progress. So, but you can also track it on the tracker. So that's cool. All right. Well, all right. Can only take so long to celebrate. There's much more to be done. Let's move this big unit. Again, using our big 7 strength recon unit as our lead attacking unit. This is a mighty armored division here. Flip it over. Heroes 7. All right. Also a very easy target. Hopefully, again, we can overrun them. Let's try for it. So they have 7 plus 2. It's 9. I'm going to move combat value for them as 9. I'm sorry, 9? Where am I getting that? Oh, I'm looking at this one. That is 9, yeah. 9. Ours is 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and then 12 for the morale boost. So this is where we stand at the present time. We have 12 versus their 9. So we are ahead of them by 3. I certainly would like to overrun them. Well, there's only... No. I'm definitely going to throw at least one Stuka in there. Let's go for broke. So let's use all these. There are 4 in there, 4 units. And we'll use 4 support units then as well. So stack them there, it's fine. You can flip them over if you want, or you just know they're each worth 2. So let's take those 6, add them to our 12, 18. And now let's see what our Stuka can do. Here we go. Here we go. Not bad, not bad. 4. So that is what you take off of there. So 9 minus 4 is 5. So at this point, whoa, where are we? Oh, we're way up here. We have 18 to their 5. We have 13 more than they do. All right, so here we go. 13 more. Whoops. We're going to re-roll that because I like to be consistent and use the correct die, at least for visual sake. Whoa. All right, what do we got? 11 versus 9. So we had 2 more than they do. Add 2 to this difference, and that's 21 versus... Definitely have more strength than their 6. It is an overrun, and we will take control. So put that there. Flip these. Oops, oops, oops. Whoa. That is not the one we were attacking. This is the one we were attacking. This is actually my first time ever doing a playthrough video. So I'm sure I'm making mistakes. Anyway. Okay. Let's move our control marker. There. Okay. Now, this is the last one. This is the last area with units that are not spent. So, again, thinking back, I think I did not add that extra 1 for the morale boost, but that's okay. For the sake of this education, we can learn about what is considered or what is called bloody streets. And so what happens is when an area is contested, you first, if you're going to attack them, then you need to do this bloody streets event, essentially, and roll 1 die, and something usually happens. Hopefully not. It is possible you may elect to move out of this area, but I don't see any reason why we can't just continue to attack and take the chance with this bloody street. So let's roll a 1 to 4 because that means no effect. We don't want to lose any morale, nor do we want to flip the units spent, and so that would be really bad. But here we go. 4. Oh, just made it. No effect. Okay, good. But now we still have to fight. So again, lead attacking unit will be this one. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 9 with the morale boost. So 9, and their combat value was 6, right? 6 plus 1 is 7. So we've got 2 more than they do. All we have to do now is beat them by 1. So we have 3 available support units. Be nice to save 1. Let's add 1 Stuka. Oh, by the way, I didn't flip it over. You can see the defense value. Subtract whatever you rolled from their defense value. So that's what that means. And let's add a artillery. So let's add 1 for our artillery. No, I'm sorry, 2, because we don't have a artillery shell shortage. So 9 plus 2 is 11. And we're going to roll to see what we can knock off of their defense value with our Stuka. 5. Hey, that's awesome. Good work. Good work, Luftwaffe. 5 minus. Take away from that is 2. We have 9 more than they do. So I think this is going to be a win. So again, each Red Army gets the red. Hey, look at that. Got 2 more than they do, so the difference would be adding 2 if I wanted to, and the difference is still significant enough for us to take the victory. So, gun. Take these, put them in the used, flip these to spent, and then control tracker. It's underneath my combat. There. All right. That, I believe, ends turn 2 for me, since there's no other available units to move. So that's that. So we end the phase. Definitely no victory yet. We need to flip everybody back. Let's see if I can get this camera to stay. And we're gonna go to the next turn. So flip all these guys to their active side, or normal side, ready side. Sorry, I'm not set up like the Stuka Joe or the Little Blitz. Those guys are awesome. Okay. All right. Also, what we have to do for the end phase is lose a morale point. Thankfully, our morale hasn't been too roughed up. Of course, it's because we haven't entered many battles because of that dumb logistical pause. So,